Hello, my name is John Logan, and I've been asked to come here and talk to you about addiction. I am an alcoholic, so you never actually finish being an alcoholic. I no longer drink. I haven't drank it for 6.5 years, but I'm here to tell you exactly kind of my story on how brought me into becoming an alcoholic, what the church did for me, and what's it doing for me now. So, unfortunately, I was born into a family in which alcohol became a big part of it, and my dad was an alcoholic. So I really learned from the best. Whether it was when I started teenage years, when you first started kind of partying with friends, which is a lot of fun, but then as you kind of get more involved with it, then I had some trauma and things like that, and so then it doesn't become a fun thing anymore. It becomes a coping mechanism. I do this so I don't have to deal with that. And so that was my teenage years, and rather than coming back and maybe worshiping the way I should, I decided, well, I'll just keep drinking more. And you would think maybe getting some trouble with the law would be a good way for somebody to maybe have some type of reflective period and maybe to stop. However, that wasn't probably the best thing in my case, because I just kept on drinking. Not only that, I got in more trouble and I went to jail, and that was going to stop me, right? No, of course not. So I was lucky enough to be able to have the ability to study and take tests and do stuff all the way through this, my addiction, and which led me to be able to earn some degrees, pass some board exams, and now I'm a professional. So I'm making money, but I'm also fueling my habit. I actually became so good at becoming an alcoholic, I would almost regiment it, saying, well, I had to drink at this time, I had to have this many drinks in by this time, so then I can wake up the next morning and be sober enough to perform my professional duties. I don't know if there's a term for that, but I would be called like more of a methodology alcoholic. Went through some professional ups and downs, highs and lows, as we all do, which is great and bad at the same time. But we had our first child, and those of you that are parents are out there, there's a unique bond, obviously, a father and son, father and daughter, mother, son, mother, daughter. You start wondering, well, what really am I teaching here? And you're like, well, I don't think this is probably the best thing to be doing as a father. Now, I didn't really, lose any of the parental duties. I mean, I did everything I was supposed to do, change diapers, feed, do all that kind of stuff. I was drinking. And so then we moved back closer to our hometown, and one night I was working the 3 to 11 shift. I got off at 11, had to have my drinks. I was sitting there, at that time we were living with my brother-in-law, who welcomed us into his house before we settled back, and I was like, what am I doing? What is going on here? So luckily enough, I had befriended somebody that was working, that 3 to 11 and overnight shift with me, and he said, why don't you think about doing this, that, and the other? So I ended up joining the Army at age 35, which is pretty much the cutoff age, and I went through that, and that was great, and it was a great chance, basically, for forced sobriety. The thing about addiction that people don't understand is once you really become addicted to something, whether it be alcohol, heroin, you name it, doesn't really matter. The addiction takes over. It's no longer, well, I just do this to cope with things. I do this because my actual brain chemistry has changed, that I cannot live without this substance. The great thing about boot camp is that you have to stop. You don't have a choice in that. So that was great. That was great to stop. However, that really didn't fuel what the addiction was trying to take control of. So I went through this, and I was lucky enough that I worked at a faith-based organization, and one of the people in pastoral care, I was going by him one day, and I said, my wife's Catholic. We've been going back to church. Is a non-denominational church, but something's missing. Where do you practice? Because him and I become friends, and he said, well, I want you to go to this parish, and you go talk to Sister X, Y, and Z, and talk to them. And we did, and it was a wonderful experience. And we went to Mass the first time, and right away we knew it was home, and it was so comfortable and so inviting. And not being Catholic growing up, I was very intimidated, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go this. I don't know what prayers I'm saying. I don't want to stand up. I don't want to sit down. What are these people doing? But then the deacon and father and everybody came afterwards and said, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. And it is very welcoming. And that intimidation that I had growing up was just something I created. It was my own story that I created about what I thought the Catholic Church really was, but it wasn't at all. So we decided we'd come back, and I said, well, I want to become Catholic as well. And so I went through the RCIA program at our church, and it was, I would like to tell you that it was just an experience, but it was way more than that. It was a life-altering experience. And not just because of going through and the people that were there, but something happened, something with inside me, and it's only something that you can experience yourself. But what I can tell you is that an extreme peace came over me. So much so that it inspired me to do some writing and do some other things and share the story like I am with you now. I don't know if that would ever happen for you or anybody that you love, but what I can tell you is that instead of filling my soul up with alcohol or whatever substance that you want to do, if you come to church, there is a way, there's not even a cup big enough that can fill what you get at church. And it's very, very comforting knowing that I'm not the only one who thinks that there's a bunch of people around me. I'm not afraid of my faith anymore. I guess that's one of the greatest things that I've probably come through the last probably 6 to 8 months is I've been wrestling with these questions. What am I supposed to talk about God? Is it okay? Is it okay to say that I'm Catholic? Because you hear these things, and I'm old enough to remember maybe some of the things that were tarnished the Catholic Church's name for a while. It's okay. It's actually wonderful. And I think probably the best thing that I've learned is the word Catholic just means to be open. It really means to be inviting. So it's not like, there should be any fear of joining the Catholic Church or joining anything that might be going on. It's actually a wonderful time to be coming in, because not only are we renewing the faith, so to speak, but we're revitalizing it, we're learning about Scripture, we're talking about issues that affect everyday life. Now, addiction is something that I don't want you to automatically think that, okay, well, he found God and so, his addiction's over. It's part of it. And he helps me get through it every day. It's every minute, it's every hour, it's every day, it's every week. I've gotten to the point where now I don't really think about drinking anymore, but it's still there. Unfortunately, we live in a society where that's a big part of what we do. I just can't do it myself, because it's not one of those things where, I'll just drink socially. My idea of social drinking is, I don't have 1 or 2. Well, if 1 or 2 are good, then 3 to 4 must be better. And 3 to 4 make me feel better. Then I'll go to 8 and I'll go 12, 16. And you see where I'm going with that. I'll tell you, if you fill your cup up with Christ, he will give you everything that you need. For those of you that are struggling and are out there with addiction, I can tell you that my words alone probably will not do it. But what you need to do is surround yourself with people that believe what you believe. The Catholic Church is welcoming. They don't judge. They don't judge you based upon, you did that. Oh my goodness, no, we can't have somebody like that here. Come see us. Come talk to me. I'm more than happy to talk to you about what led me into severe alcoholism, what tricks I've learned along the way, who to talk to. You need a support system. We all need people in our lives. Even as reclusive persons, you might think you might be. Even if you think you're on a path that nobody's going to accept me. You don't understand. I need to have this fix every 2 hours. I need to have this needle in my arm. I get it. I understand it. But I'm here to tell you, we won't judge you. We'll help you. Just give us a chance. Give the Catholic Church a chance to show you a better way. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. You have to make a substantial change in your life. But if you give Christ a chance, I'm telling you, you'll be much happier. something like that.